Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff Podcast. My name is clearly David.
My name is James. That's me,
Clearly.
clearly.
And this is where we talk all things Mandalorian on the Mandalorian pre show.
Yes.
So, James, what are you thinking for tonight's super long episode? 56 minutes worth.
I know, I can't believe we're actually gonna get a long, actual long. I'll be happy when it's like an hour and 10. Like that'll be when I'm like
Mm,
really happy. I have no idea what to expect after last week's episode
yeah.
and how great it was and where it ended. I mean, anything. It's literally open. Like I have no idea where they can go, but I'm excited. Can't wait to see
Yeah.
what they do with it next.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Maka? That's one of our great patrons that we have. And if you look at the bottom right there, you see his name in the black tier. Thank you so
Woohoo!
much, Maka. Maka Tautala, Nathan Shank, Evan O'Paker, and Liam McCallion. About half of those people we're going to meet at Star Wars Celebration, hopefully, in London in T minus what, 3 weeks now? Somewhere around
God,
there.
I can't believe it's
That's
already
wild.
here.
Yeah,
You
man.
know, Celebration 2022 feels like it was just a couple of months ago. Like I don't understand how we're coming up on a year of Celebration anniversary from. I don't know. It just flew by really fast.
Yeah. It I mean, it's less than a year between celebrations, so
Yeah, true.
and it's incredible to think that 6 years between Star Wars films is going to be a reality here. It feels
I
like the Rise of Skywalker just came out. Doesn't it feel like that?
it always blows me away that it's done. You know what I mean? The sequel trilogy is
Yeah,
complete. It just blows me away that we already lived to see it. But yeah, it 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 does for me. Rise of Skywalker feels like it came out forever ago. Now,
really.
yeah, for me it
Wow.
feels like it's really old, which is really strange because it's not that long, not that long at all. That's
Yeah.
passed. So yeah, I mean, I'm okay with waiting 6 years because we waited 10 years for for episode 7 between 3 and 7, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm glad it's 6. I'm glad it's not another 10, another 15 years. That'd be terrible. So I think 6 years would be okay.
Yeah, that wouldn't make a lot of business sense, but it doesn't make a lot of business sense that they're waiting 6 years. It's very strange,
Yeah, I
don't you
see
think?
what you mean. I see, but I think they're banking off of Disney Plus. Like all the Disney Plus shows that they're doing is how they're making their money right now. So
Well, apparently they're not making money on that.
no way.
The subscribers have plateaued,
I
and they
mean,
lost 2
yeah,
million subscribers last month, I believe. So the only
well,
real way they can make money is via the films. That's why they're going to push the
yeah.
films. And like I always say, there's so many slam dunk ideas. If you're in the chat right now, drop your slam dunk idea on what Star Wars should do, what they should announce at this year's celebration. Um, the panels got released this past week, and the lottery system was activated today. And thank you, James. He submitted his email address to possibly win us a spot in the Ahsoka or
Well,
Lucasfilm panel.
don't tell everybody what we're doing. You know what I mean?
Well,
Jeez,
he
man.
bought his ticket. Well, I mean, come on.
Yeah,
James
It's
bought his tickets by himself. He was a rebel. He was a rogue. And I bought a set of tickets. I bought 3 sets of individual days because the 4 days sold out in like less than 2 minutes.
minutes.
And I was on a family vacation, like Craig Four is right now. He can't podcast with us, but he's
Hmm.
probably watching us. Um, but yeah, we pulled to the side of the road heading to South Padre Island with my family. And yeah, my wife was like, pull over, we're all going to die because I was driving. So I was like, okay, let's do this. So I found a good spot, pulled over, had good cell reception on 4G LTE. I bought the tickets. So that was not
Nice.
bad. And I tried convincing my wife to maybe not drive to Padre Island as early because I knew the sale was going to happen around 11 a.m., I believe. But she was, no, we're leaving at 10. I was like, okay, well,
So we're pulling over so I
that
can
works
buy these
out.
tickets. But yeah, I
And
bought
see,
mine. Yeah, go for it. Go for
I
it.
was gonna say I was gonna leave it up to fate to see if I could get the tickets because I mean I did want to put my family after Star Wars. So, and I knew at the time this vacation meant a lot to my wife and kids because we hadn't gone on one together in a while. So, but yeah, as fate would have it, I was able to buy the tickets, but I had to buy individual passes. What were we gonna say?
I mean, yeah, same with me. I mean, I got on as soon as they went on sale. Like I was already in the queue waiting,
Yeah,
and then as soon as I got to the website, 4 days passes were gone. Jedi gone completely. Jedi VIP gone. So I was like, okay. So yeah, I bought all 4 individual days as well, and I can't go.
yeah, that's a bummer, man. It's gonna not be as fun since you're not going.
Nah, it's y'all gonna have a blast. And so yeah, I will use my ticket today to hopefully get in a panel and they can take it. Um, but yeah, there's I guess there were four for Anaheim, like the four big ones to do. This one was it was the Ahsoka panel, the Lucasfilm panel, the Bad Batch panel, and then the villains of
Villains
Star
of the
Wars.
sequel trilogy, which is interesting. I mean, you're
That's
gonna have
what you
Ian
got to do.
McDermott and Andy Serkis plus Gwendolyn Christie on the stage. I don't know who's hosting, so
I know Adam Driver will not be there. I don't think
you
he'll ever
never
go to
know.
I don't think he'll ever go to an event anymore. He said, I forget what event he did, and he said it was just the worst experience of his life. And he was like, I never want to do this again.
Yeah, I'm hoping these panels are a little bit more spontaneous than they've been in the past. I know, like we've had Tamir Morrison up there with Daniel Logan, and they kind of joked around a lot, and it was entertaining. And Ewan
Hmm.
was up there, kind of cutting it up. But wouldn't it be something if they do the villains of the sequel trilogy panel, and Hayden Christensen walks out, and we get a big announcement, maybe for like a Vader show or a Vader film?
That'd be something.
That'd be
I don't know,
something.
man. They just Lucasfilm Celebration doesn't do that. Like they don't do the crazy stuff. They keep all that for later. It's just so weird
It's
that they
time
don't.
for that. It's time to
It is
bring out.
time
And
for that.
that's not even that crazy. That's just wowing the crowd, wowing potentially. I wouldn't say break the internet, but I mean you'd be trending worldwide big time if you
And
announced a
also,
Vader series.
Star Wars fans would be psyched. You know what I mean? Like everybody would be so pumped for this
Yeah,
day.
Maka here on the chat is saying I'm gonna meet Ming Na Wen and Dennis Lawson at a con here in Washington.
Oh, nice.
That's cool, man. Dennis Lawson going out to Washington. That's interesting.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's not young, so but good for him for going.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Ming Na Wen will be at Star Wars Celebration Europe in London at the Excel Center, hosting the Return of the Jedi 40th panel,
That's
which
awesome.
is interesting because I mean, there's going to be a lot of people that sign from Return of the Jedi at Celebration and outside of Celebration. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
That's kind of an interesting thing. There are other events happening outside of Celebration where a lot of the um, aliens that wore the masks on set are going to actually be signing. Some of the pilots will be signing. So
Whoa.
that's an interesting thing. I don't know if that has to do with like agents or just general relationship with Lucasfilm. I'm not quite sure.
Or 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 maybe these are the guys who didn't get an invite, you know what I'm saying? So they're like so they're just gonna set up shop and get money from people either way.
Yeah, there. It was interesting when you go to the official Pix website. There were a couple of signers that sold out like immediately, and they weren't like big time names. So I was kind of curious. So I clicked on the link, and they were actually signing for free. That's why they essentially sold out right away. It was,
Okay, makes sense.
I believe, if you can help me out in chat, if you know these two people. I know one of the people what was the very first female stormtrooper, and I think she's a stunt actress. I don't know her name. Maybe I just go to the website, I can find it. And there was another person that sold out pretty quickly. I'm going to the website right now. I think it's official pics. I'm trying to navigate here. Yeah, they have a lot of people that sign different stuff. What are they saying in chat? Is it official pics?
Nobody is saying anything right now in chat.
MegaCon. Yeah, MegaCon, I believe, is happening before Star Wars Celebration in Orlando. Let me see. All right, here we go. Yes, her name is Samantha Aline, and it looks like she's opened up more autographs.
Oh, nice.
But you know, this website looks actually kind of different. This might be a website for like mail-ins. That's the other good thing about getting autographs. You can actually sign up for them even though you don't go to Celebration and have them mail them out to you.
It's
All right,
not
there's
the
a
same,
link.
you know.
Yeah, there's a link at the top that lets you go directly to Celebration. Okay, she's not sold out anymore. That's the other kind of weird phenomenon that I think we're watching happen here with Epic Photo Ops, official pics. So we'll get sold out notices, but then they'll open up more days, more signings.
Interesting.
Ewan
I guess they see
McGregor
the
sold out
demand.
today.
I mean, that was obvious. I mean, of course he's got to sell out.
Yeah, Maka says, I was surprised too. It's a pretty small con compared to the Emerald City Comic Con. Yeah, that's pretty cool that Mignaz would make the round. She was here at Comic Palooza in Houston. I went to that, I guess, 2 years ago now. Maybe it's 2022. I'm not sure, but I got Katie Sackhoff's autograph, and I just ran out of money because I went to Star Wars Celebration, but I at least got her autograph. And Ming-Na Wen was there. The funny thing is, Danny Trejo was right behind the curtain, and Book of Boba Fett hadn't premiered yet, so technically he couldn't be in any Star Wars stuff. Now he can. Now, hopefully, they bring him across over the curtain, and we can get a big old Star Wars photo op with him now.
That'd be like the ultimate photo op is Danny Trejo. You know, like just he's the man. He's the man. You know, so
Dark Water's back again. Yeah, so Samantha Eileen did sell out of free autographs, but I think she's back on the menu. And I think she's charging now, actually. She's charging 39 euros now. I think that's kind of a cool thing. There's a batch of them that were free, and now she's charging. So if you didn't jump on it, now you're going to pay. And there was another person actually on here. Let me actually share my screen so y'all can take a look at what I'm looking at. So I believe it might have been Aiden Cook. I believe he was free until just recently. Now he's charging.
A lot of people going to be there.
Yep. I think Hayden opened up another day for signing. And Jonas will be signing every single day here, doing photo ops and at the table. He does a lot of convention stuff.
Yeah, he loves that. He loves this stuff.
Matthew Wood, Michael Carter, Mike Edmonds, Mike Quinn, Ming-Na Wen, Rosario Dawson. I kind of wish they had a counter. I think it'd be better for business if there was like this many to sell out to actually kind of see. I think that would drive a little bit
Mm.
more business if they did that. But yeah, me and Colin are definitely gonna get photo ops with Andy Serkis, Hayden Christensen, and Ewan McGregor. What did you think of Crosshair's episode last week, James?
It was it was pretty good. It was really good. It was dark, and the ending was very satisfying. And it just makes me wonder if Crosshair is gonna maybe redeem himself. That's kind of the vibe I was getting from this last episode. I thought it was awesome though. Thought it was really good. Bad Batch just got like insanely great all of a sudden. I mean, it was already good, but like these last few episodes have just been amazing. So I'm anxious to see what they're gonna do with it now, with that one too. So I
Yeah, it
liked
really
it.
picked up. Yeah, to me, Bad Batch kind of gets a bad rap sometimes, but then they drop some really nice episodes. And I hate the fact that people bring up the whole thing that they do filler episodes, and it's like, man, it's part of the overall story, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got its own style and its own pace, and I just wish people would kind of stop jumping on them for that. Hey, what's up, General Kenobi?
Hey, thanks for joining us.
So yeah, tonight's episode for The Mandalorian will be chapter 19, 56 minutes long. You said, James, that you're not quite sure what you're gonna get in tonight's
No,
episode.
I have no idea. Like I, I've learned just to kind of just relax, see what happens because I think previous seasons I've been like trying to guess like okay this is gonna happen then all these theories and everything and then even like Marvel shows just doing all these theories and WandaVision I didn't really like because the theories were better than the movie than the show itself. So yeah, I stopped kind of
Yeah.
just predicting and doing theories. And with Andor, I just watched it. Andor, I was like, I have no idea what's happening. I'm just gonna watch this show. And so with season 3 of Mandalorian, I'm doing the same thing. I'm just gonna watch the show. I'm just gonna enjoy it, and I've been digging it, like what's been happening. So I just hope it's good. That's all I want. Just I want tonight's episode to be really good.
So General Kenobi wants to know: are Din and Bo now married because they bathe together in the living?
There has to be some rule. There has to be some rule somewhere, Mandalore. Like if yeah, if two Mandalorians go into the waters together, they're immediately betrothed. Like
So
they have
okay,
to be.
so if Bo is married to Din, does that mean they both kind of have rights to the dark saber? I mean,
Uh, yeah, that's a
because
good question.
there's a lot of technicalities with that dark saber now. Because one could argue that Din was disarmed by that lobster droid with that insectoid Grievous alien
Hmm.
within it, and then the dark saber had no owner, or was owned by the Grievous Junior character, and then Bo picked up the dark saber and like basically slaughtered that the owner. So now she maybe could have rights to the dark saber. I don't know.
I mean, he she gives it back to him, So, but I see where you're coming from. But yeah, she just totally gives it back to him. Pretty sure she has rights to his saber. That'd be pretty cool though. And then that plot line stops, and then we're like, so what is this season even about?
Yeah, I thought Bo Katan was going to be straight up the villain. I thought
Yeah.
she was going to try and assassinate Din. I thought the whole go to Mandalore thing was like kind of like a setup. I mean, but I mean, clearly it seems like she's just kind of given up in a way, and maybe she was telling the truth about all of the forces melting away, and
Hmm.
everyone from Casca Reeves to Axe Woves became mercenaries, and they're just using all those weapons from the Empire, all those like rifles that they they secured, and they're just like going off and essentially just doing gun for hire type stuff. So General Kenobi says, "Oh, it's going to be like with Malfoy. Flea Market Grievous is the rifle owner." Yeah, that's a good name for that alien, Flea Market Grievous.
Flea market. That's good. That's really good. Um, at the end of the last episode of Bad Batch, I think Crosshair is being turned. That's a good theory.
Yeah.
I really hope he goes back to the group. I think that'd be a really cool moment. Cool moment for like the reunion, and if he grows, as a character, I think that'd be a pretty cool ending. And I really hope that happens. But I don't know. It might not happen.
Yeah, I'd love to see a little bit more convergence. So I would love to see that theory come to fruition there. Another Dark Trooper, or the first Dark Trooper, Phase Zero. That'd be pretty rad. But man, I gotta hand it to D. Bradley Baker. He does an incredible job. He's underrated. That guy doesn't get enough props and respect, I think.
He's just doing all those voices himself. He's talking. He's having whole conversations with himself. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like what happens to the Bad Batch if something happens to D. Bradley Baker? God forbid.
I mean, they just do their best to find actors who sound like them. They probably have to find individual actors though. They couldn't find someone to do them all like he did. There's no way.
It'd be like an ACDC situation.
But yeah, so I hope with the length of the show, like it's just we get the same pacing we did last week. 'Cause last week's pacing of that episode was really good, and like how much they crammed in there, I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah, I've been saying that the first two episodes are pretty lean, almost no fat at all. And now we're going to get this 56-minute episode, which is going to feel more or less the same length as like an HBO Max series type episode. And I think there's only a few scenes now from the trailers and commercials that we haven't seen yet in the show, and we've only gone through the first two episodes, which is incredible. I love how they do that. That's a terrific thing. That's a terrific tradition that they've kept rolling on. And I think the only scenes now that we haven't seen are the Dr. Pershing scenes, where he's flying through Coruscant and looking at all the cars fly by. The Katie O'Brien with Dr. Pershing scene that when they're walking in some big corridor. Also, Bo-Katan's ship, the Gauntlet, being chased by TIE fighters. We haven't seen that yet. And that appears to be on Kalevala. And we also haven't seen that shot of all the different Mandalorians kind of walking out of the cave. And Mando's like the last one to walk out. And also on the ridgeline where you see where I think in the back, people are saying maybe one of those guys is Boba Fett. So we haven't seen him yet either.
And we also haven't seen the shot of the Mandalorians dropping out of the ship.
Yes, the fight on Navarro.
Yeah,
and that's everything that I can think of. I rewatched today the Pedro Pascal interview that he did with Anthony Carboni on the Star Wars show Celebration Live stage. And Carboni asked him, if you please give us 3 words to describe the Mandalorian season 3. And one of the words was surprises. So we've already gotten one huge surprise, I think, with the Mythosaur. What do you think another big surprise could possibly be?
I mean, I don't know. Season 2 ending with Luke was huge. Like that was the ultimate surprise. So it's just like, what can they do to top that? And it's obvious, yes. It's sad but true. I know. I look totally not good without it. I know that. So just we're all on the same page here. What was I saying? I was saying something about
a surprise marriage by water.
Yeah, I like that. I still think that that's how they're gonna get together. But
I like Miss Sunflower, Snoke, Thrawn cameo. I mean, I
Oh,
think
yeah, that's what I was
Thrawn
talking about.
is like kind of one of those like that we're kind of halfway expecting. That's probably going to be like the maybe season finale kind of end credits drop.
Can you imagine that? Seeing Thrawn. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It is James.
Um, I kind of don't want to see Thrawn yet. I want to see Thrawn in Ahsoka. Um, yeah, I think she's gonna go through a weird like stay. Like she's gonna start being kind of crazy because of what she saw. And Din's gonna be like, "What are you talking?" Like I don't know if Din saw it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think he
So,
did see it. I think it's only Bo.
so her freaking out. Like, what's her reaction gonna be? Is she gonna be like, is she gonna start with all the stormtroopers? I mean, all the Mandalorian troopers asleep? And she just runs in. Wake up! Wake up! We gotta go! We gotta go! Wake up, everybody!
Yeah, I agree
I
with
want to see.
Joe Aliano here. Welcome to the chat, Joe. I want to see Han and Chewie. There's rumors, man. There's rumors that we're gonna see a de-aged Harrison Ford, a
I
deep
think that's
faked
the.
Harrison Ford. They got the tech. They got this. It's on a computer somewhere in Lucasfilm for Indy 5. You know, they just pull it, use it, reuse it, take it off the shelf.
And plus, Harrison Ford was already like filming with
Well, yeah, that's
Lucasfilm.
the rumor. He was there for some reason during the Book of Boba Fett timeline of shooting,
So
and everyone was like, "Yeah, Harrison Ford. Yeah, Han Solo's gonna show up. Yeah, and that's kind of what we all thought." And then we got nothing. No
nothing.
Luke, no Han in the final episode.
Just some weird people shooting at a. Yeah. I think we'll see Ahsoka. Hopefully not Thrawn. Not yet. I don't think we're gonna see Ahsoka yet. I don't think they can keep relying on Ahsoka. You know what I mean? It's like she already was amazing in season 2, and then the Book of Boba Fett when she popped up, it was like awesome. You know, like we're all excited. I don't know. I kind of want to see her. I want to keep her hidden until the show comes out. The Ahsoka show comes out.
Yeah. So yeah, General Kenobi is being a little bit more of a realist here. He says, "I think we'll see Ahsoka. Hopefully not Thrawn. Not yet." I don't have any issue with seeing Thrawn in the Mandalorian season 3 towards the end or towards the middle. I mean,
I mean, who knows? We might see him. We might see him tonight. How
yeah.
this season's how this season is playing out. It's crazy what's happening.
And then people are gonna be like, "It's too early," or "Oh my god," you're gonna get some complaint somehow, some way.
Well,
I'm here for it, man.
yeah, if what I'm confident enough to think like if they were to do that, they have something huge planned for the ending. Um, so yeah, but no, seeing Han and Chewie, seeing the Millennium Falcon fly out of nowhere to save the day would be pretty cool. Maybe see a young Ben Solo. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, there's a lot they can do
That's a
with
good
it.
one, James. Young Ben Solo. That's something I don't think many people are talking about. And there has been talks and rumblings about a young Ben Solo project at Lucasfilm. And with the way Adam Driver, I think people really think Adam Driver is a lot like Harrison Ford and that he doesn't really care to come back to Star Wars. But I think Adam Driver would love a return to Star, wouldn't mind it. I know since then he's become a bigger star and has probably ascended to a bigger paycheck. So I mean, there's that. But with all the news and the theories and the rumors saying that Lucasfilm wants to concentrate more on the stories after the sequel trilogy, I mean, Adam Driver's right there, Daisy Ridley's right there. But Joe says Harrison Ford's been spending a lot of time at Lucasfilm, so I mean, he's there.
I mean, who knows? Maybe
Harrison
he
Ford,
recorded.
yeah, I think Harrison Ford is still that same grumpy guy, but I think he's kind of warmed up a little bit more to Star Wars and everything because I think he realized that he's getting older and he won't be able to do this much longer. But you never know. I mean, with science and technology, I mean, look at John Williams, man. He's 91, attending the Oscars, getting nominated, showing up to
And
celebration randomly.
I can't believe he. I'm still mad at who won that Oscar for All Quiet on the Western Front. Like that
Yeah.
was such. I was like, Really? Anyways, we're not talking about that. But
Stay focused, James. We always stay
don't
on
do
focus
this.
here.
Yeah, we're always focused. But
It's an inside
you
joke,
know,
guys.
I was
In case you didn't
saying
catch that.
how yeah, seeing Han Solo, like after seeing Luke, Han Solo is like the next big thing you can see. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like there's just, or even Leia, like
or all three of them
Leia.
together.
Jeez. You know, I wouldn't put it past Favreau to do that because he knows that's what fans are dying to see. One more adventure with all three of them together. And
Chewie pops out
unfortunately,
as well.
unfortunately, we don't have Carrie Fisher with us, but we have amazing technology. But I think Favreau knows the fans would love to see that shot of the three of them in the cockpit together. Luke, Leia and Luke training, yeah.
The Han Solo in the background with Baby Ben. I think Baby Ben is eventual. It's just
No, I don't think
when
it's
and where are we going to see?
Mandalorian. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what is the timeline? Is I think
Well,
the Mandalorian season 1 timeline has actually been in question because it was supposed to be
but
5 years after Return of the Jedi, correct?
yeah,
But I think in recent interviews, John Favreau has kind of put a spin on all the timelines now for the Mandalorian because the thing came up where how long did Grogu spend with Luke training? Um, and he's given different kind of answers to it, but he's basically said it's been like a real time type thing. So about a year, a little less than a year maybe with Luke, which kind of blew everyone's mind. So
mm. But if it's been 2 years, then that means we still don't have. I mean, Luke may have finally gone and gotten Ben during this time. Like this would be the time that he has been.
because he doesn't have any students right now, allegedly,
Exactly.
doesn't have Grogu. He's seeking to pass on what he's learned, as Master Yoda directed. And I mean, we might see other students too. That's another possibility. That'd be really
Yeah.
cool to see the students that actually died in the Force Awakens in that flashback.
Some of them did leave though, but they all died.
Yeah, yeah.
But whatchamacallit? Uh, yeah, seeing a young Ben Solo, I don't want to see that yet in Mandalorian. I want to see that later on. But again, I mean, it's just Favreau knows what people would want to see, and that's something also people would want to see. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't put it past him to do it in this season.
Yeah. So, how do you feel about John Favreau saying that the Mandalorian could continue on and never really kind of end? What do you think about that proposition?
Well, I can't fathom it because all I know, like, to know that he's out there doing stuff that has nothing to do with the other timeline. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't make it as important to me um, as much as this one does because we know what's happening. We know who the good guys are, who the bad guys are. We know what's as fans and people who know the story. We know what's about to come. If he's just all by himself out, and I don't know, it just doesn't have the same importance.
See, the whole thing with me when Disney bought Lucasfilm and they announced we're doing a movie, it's coming out in 2015 by hook or crook, I was like, okay, great. That means they're just going to continue in making on these episodic films. But then they're like, well, we finished the Skywalker saga, which means no more episodic films, right? But you figure there is going to be an episode 10. I mean, that just makes too much sense. So I don't like the way that they're treating the episodes and that only the episodes can have the crawl and that the Skywalker saga is done. That whole kind of mentality that they have. But I mean, The Mandalorian can be its own saga in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
And that can go on forever, which is what I thought the episodes were going to do. Because you start at 4, 5, 6, and go 1, 2, 3, then 7, 8, 9, and then just continue them 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I thought that's what was going to happen. And then make side movies as well, do the anthologies, and then it became the Star Wars stories, which Solo totally spooked them. And I think that was just bad timing. And I don't understand how Lucasfilm doesn't see that was just bad timing on their part. And I think Bob Iger has said as much in some interviews, but they're not reacting to that thing that happened in May, like a little less than a month after Infinity War, 2 weeks from Deadpool 2 being released, and then all the baggage that The Last Jedi had. I mean, it just makes sense to do them in December, do them Christmas time, make that the tradition, a world tradition where you drop a Star Wars film in December and keep the episodes going. Am I right?
You're right. I'm listening. I'm digging this, man. I understand, and it was so strange. That 6 month gap, Solo comes out, and Solo was great. I love Solo. A lot of people always talk trash about it. I thought Solo was awesome, and
Solo was really solid.
it just sucks that nobody went to go see it. And
well, a lot of people went to go see it. I mean, it made $500 million. I mean, that's nothing to.
But it didn't make
laugh at.
It didn't get to almost make it $1 billion like the other Star Wars movies have. That's what scared them.
Yeah, and then Rise of Skywalker made over $1 billion, which, I mean, you got to kind of realize the reality of it all. I mean, you know that Rise of Skywalker film is going to be the last film of the new trilogy. Everyone's going to want to finish the trilogy off. They release it in December. Everyone's going to take their family for Christmas, go see it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's something you kind of have to do to complete it in the movie theater. And I think that's what really helped it to get to that billion mark. And then people outside of our bubble, we're in an extreme Star Wars bubble where we know so much about story and behind the scenes, and we as fans, we as hardcore fans want certain things, and then when we don't get those certain things, we talk about it and ask why we're not in charge of Lucasfilm. But I mean, it's a machine, man, with so many working parts, so many different people, personalities, and I mean, it's just one of those things, man. It's different ages, different generations handling it, and of course, Filoni wasn't at the top of Lucasfilm like he is kind of now. He's an executive creative head, but I mean, I think they kind of got the whole aspect of, okay, well, Dave Filoni knows Star Wars. He knows how to make successful Star Wars, and let's put him in the know a little bit more. Because I don't think I'm not saying Andor was bad or anything, but I don't think he consulted at all. Almost nothing on Andor, which was okay. I mean, you had Tony Gilroy in charge, but I think that Filoni needs to do what the story team does, or what we've been told the story team does, is kind of consult and like second check the work there that's being done. So we're getting a lot of stuff in chat here. I want to bring it up. Darkwater says, fun idea. They could redo the Kick storyline where he found out about Order 66 and got taken by the CIS and put in cryo. Instead, they could have him be found and woken up by the Bad Batch. What do you think about that, James?
I like that.
James likes
again, slam dunk. I'm just kidding. No, it works though. It works.
All right. So Miss Sunflower says, will we see Luke this season? I hope so.
I hope not.
Really?
Because it's like it worked for season 2. It worked for Book of Boba Fett. I don't understand what would happen to where Luke would come back and help out. Like I can't see that happening.
Luke is very much like the Eagles in The Lord of the Rings, where he shows up and everything's fine because he's very, very powerful. But that'd be cool to see him clean up in a big battle. And of course, Luke is one of my favorite characters, so that'd be great to see. And I love technology as well. I love the fact they used deepfake. They hired Shamook, the YouTuber, who proved it could be done with deepfaking Harrison Ford's face on Alden Ehrenreich for those solo clips. Even did it for Billy D. Williams on Donald Glover. That last scene where Solo's hugging
Oh,
Lando, and that looked pretty cool. Miss Sunflower says, I actually agree with John. It's better if Din and Grogu stays unrelated to the Skywalker saga. Even Dave said that the characters in Mandoverse does not need to interact with the sequel timeline.
yeah. I don't know. I think people want to see that though. Like that's people want to know. People want to have that fan service too by seeing the legacy characters.
Yeah, at the very beginning, when they did that whole publication in whatever magazine they did, they referenced The Mandalorian leading up to the sequel trilogy and kind of flowing into that. Now, of course, everyone thinks with the cloning and the vats we saw in that Carl Weathers directed episode of season 2 that we're going to head towards like a Snoke type storyline. And Andy Serkis has been asked about it, and he says he's totally game for returning back as Snoke. So maybe Favreau Filoni are changing their minds and not wanting to meld stories in with the sequel trilogy. I mean, that's a possibility, I guess.
Or maybe they're just thinking to the future, thinking after we reach episode 7, then we can go off and do our own thing. Like I think that's what they're hoping for. The fans would be okay with that. Yep. Solo was released at an unfortunate time.
Yeah, the Sunflower says my family went to watch the sequels in the theater every time. I think everyone's kind of Star Wars family and people that have those types of traditions all went. I mean, it made $1 billion, and it's Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars is a family franchise, and you can take everyone to go see it. It hits all 4 quadrants, which every film I think should hit, which The Mandalorian I think does. So Chris, he is one of our awesome patrons. He's saying, "Hey guys, messaging from Amsterdam, on my way to Prague. Gonna watch the new episode on the plane."
Thank you.
Wow,
Just gonna fly to
that's
Prague. It's
awesome.
fine. That's
Yeah,
so
there's
cool.
probably tons of movie stars walking around there. Well, you might see Liam Neeson there. Chris also says, "I think Thrawn will show up or Rebels characters in the Ghost."
That would be cool. Something
We already got the
happens to
Purgles,
where
man.
and the ghost comes in. That would be really cool. That would be something. Uh, Hopefully they do that. And I think I said that one episode a while back. I said that'd be pretty cool to see the ghost and see Hera, and see everybody who's on the crew, and that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So General Kenobi asks, "Is the First Order out of the picture now? I remember that it would tie in somehow." Yeah, that's what I just referenced. I think that maybe they're changing their trajectory, possibly, and not going into the sequel trilogy as much anymore. And I believe the phrase was showing the origins of the First Order, which I would kind of like to see. I mean, figure out how the First Order came to be, but with, I mean, so many things in flux now. Putting the business hat on, you think about Disney Plus and the money that they're making or not making. Does that have an effect on anything? I mean, I think we always talk about the Mandalorian going into theaters somehow, some way, maybe making a finale or the big climactic event that Kathleen Kennedy talked about, the Investor Day call. Are we going to get that in the theater? But overall, though, The Mandalorian season 3 has been cinema quality. I think with these first 2 episodes. I mean, I haven't seen anything to say or scream television show. So I think they're doing a really good job.
Yeah, it seems like they've hit a pretty good stride.
Yeah, do you guys think Davis plans for kicks or will he go untouched? He just disappeared and was never mentioned. Obviously, we know about the comic.
I mean, Dave is pretty good at. I don't know. He I don't know. Nothing is by accident when it comes to Dave Filoni and what he introduces in one episode and what it means for the next and characters and everything like that. So, and plus we know he's not afraid to mess with the canon, blatantly mess with canon. So I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
I know people are still mad about that.
So Chris just paid only 13 euros for a flight.
How much is that
That's pretty good. That's about $19 American.
for a flight?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! I was gonna like think about surprising my old man in Texas, and it's like $500 just to go from California to Texas right now.
On Southwest?
Yes,
I
prices are
wonder what's going on with
nuts.
that. That's interesting. Have you tried
So I'm
kayak?
how's the commercial go? Just kidding.
I don't remember.
No,
We're not sponsored by kayak, so
oh
I'm not going to
jeez,
sing it.
if we were, we'd be saying the stupidest things about kayak if we were, but we're not. We'd be throwing it in however often. I'm just worried about the rumors of the Ray and Grogu show. That's just a big rumor, right? Like that's just
Yeah,
something somebody mentioned.
I think it just kind of blew up. I don't think there's any kind of verified, substantiated rumors in regards to that. I think that's just one of those clickbait type stories. But I think this is kind of a situation where if there's smoke, there's fire. I think Daisy Ridley is going to appear in something in the future, in the very near future. Maybe not as a main character, but maybe we'll make some type of cameo. I mean, you don't fly across the world just to have lunch at Lucasfilm and then fly back, you know?
Maybe the burgers there are really good.
The burgers at Lucasfilm. Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see about the Ray and Grogu show.
What is up, Legacy of
Yo,
Nerd? Hopefully, I see you this Saturday at the Zack Snyder Cut screening that we're gonna have in San Antonio.
sounds like a great time.
You're like, that's not a real thing. Yes, it is. So Miss Sunflower says, I think we're already seeing the origins of the First Order with those Snoke-looking clones. Yeah,
Yep.
I
And
think
then
that's everyone's in agreement that is the first kind of connective tissue. But it was kind of mysterious. But yeah, I think that was what that story point was to kind of build a lot like with the Purgles that we're going to lead into very, very Rebels heavy story continuation.
also in season 2, whenever Bill Burr was talking to his superior, he mentioned, the galaxy wants order. Like he mentioned it. It was like, oh, there it goes. So yeah, the First Order I think is being introduced pretty well, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think we'll see Moff Gideon tonight. I mean, yeah, we did mention him already in the previous episode, so I mean, or 2 episodes ago. So yeah, maybe. Actually, at this point, I really don't care about Moff Gideon, if I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I think he's done with what I thought his story was. You know what I mean? So it's like, what more could he add to the plot?
You know, I think now after these 2 episodes, I think Moff Gideon is now the big bad for the season. I think they break him out. He has revenge on his mind, and he's gonna be like, "Where's Cara Dune? I gotta take her out." Not gonna find her. Gonna find our heroes, and maybe be a little bit wiser, more careful, more.
Sounds like you know something we don't know. The way you're talking about this sounds like something you know that we don't.
Maybe I might know something I don't know.
Because you're
It's
getting pretty
possible.
elaborate there. You're going into some deep details. I'm like, there's
Deep
something more to
cuts.
this.
It's my personal fan fiction that we're going into there.
Damn.
General Kenobi says I'm more down for the Snoke and Grogu show. Wow.
I'd watch that show. Can you imagine the
Yeah.
title sequence? Man, it'd be great.
Wow. Or Grogu and Tika show. What if Grogu's first words aren't basic? They're in like Hatise or something, and you
It
see
sounds
subtitles for him.
it's really sounding like he wants to talk. So I'm just wondering if we're gonna hear that voice this season. But it sounds like he wants to say something.
Yeah. It's eventual. So Darkwater, I'm patiently waiting to see how Rex found Wolf and how Gregor survived the massive explosion. Has there been any stories released on these matters? Not that I'm
Oof.
aware of.
I don't know about that. Yeah, Gregor, I want to know how he survived that. That's one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite Clone Wars arcs. Is the frog and the droids in the desert and finding Gregor, and I was like, this is great. I know a lot of people hated those episodes, but I freaking love those episodes. But yeah, I think we will see Mando hug girl.
James is confused. Are you watching The Last of Us, James?
Oh no, I'm not.
Okay.
Not. I
Well,
haven't
there's
seen
a
a
scene where
single.
Pedro Pascal hugs Ellie and says, "I got you, baby girl." That's what he's
Oh, that makes that
referencing.
makes that makes so much more sense now that I
Yeah.
know that. Because at first I was like, I missed something.
You know, I think I saw a report stating that the night of the Oscars, The Last of Us still had more viewership than the Oscars. Isn't that
Oscars aren't what they
insane?
used to be. Yeah, nobody watches the Oscars anymore.
I think there was 18 million viewers for the Oscars, and somehow The Last of Us got more than 18 million viewers.
That's
That is
beautiful.
insane. Dude, I
It's
can't believe how
terrible.
big of a star now Pedro Pascal is. His SNL episode was hilarious. He did a great job. It was one of the better episodes in a while.
Yeah, his career has been doing pretty good lately. So
Yeah. So
is
Miss Sunflower says, "Do you think Moff Gideon is a former Death Watch? Maybe he's the one who rescued Kid Din." Haven't heard that one before. That is a possibility.
mm, yeah, it makes a possibility, but I don't know. That one seems a little too crazy for me. That's just me though.
Yeah. Yeah, with my Star Wars tinfoil hat on,
It's possible.
yeah, it's possible. I don't think that's the case, but do you remember those rumors that people thought that Moff Gideon maybe was force sensitive?
Yeah, I
And then
remember
him
hearing people
going up
say that.
against Din with the dark saber, I think we kind of proved that he wasn't. Or do you think Moff Gideon is playing the long game somehow?
He's doing his Gus approach now. No, I think he. I just think he's a warrior. I don't think he's force sensitive. Just think he was pretty good at fighting. Is what I think.
Yeah.
But I don't know. So the things we haven't seen in Mandalorian yet. Wouldn't it be crazy if we got all of those tonight? Like everything that you just said we haven't
That's what I
seen
was
yet.
thinking. I was about to bring that up. I was going to say we're going to get Coruscant tonight.
Can you imagine that? Like all of that stuff in one episode? Yeah, I think that'd be pretty
I
cool.
could see that. I could totally see that. And then just the rest of the episodes, just unknown footage, unknown storyline, unknown characters.
I mean, I love, like you said, they've been doing it these past few years, and I love that. I love that
Yeah.
there comes a moment where you're like, oh, I have no idea what's happening in the next part of the episodes because
Yeah.
we haven't seen anything. Um, yeah.
So Darkwater says one Pedro role we don't talk about, the Wonder Woman villain.
Oh yeah, there was a movie called Wonder. Yeah, that's right.
We're talking about it now. Wonder Woman 84.
Oh my gosh, it was so bad.
Pedro was actually good in it, right? He was decent.
It was decent considering what was given to him, but
Yeah.
doesn't mean the movie was just awful. It was bad. It was a bad movie.
Yeah, it's probably the project that killed Patty Jenkins' prospects of making a Star Wars film. That probably scared the stuff out of Kathleen Kennedy, and she was like, maybe not.
Because I was so looking forward to that movie. I was so excited about that movie, and then
Yeah.
I was just like, "Oh my gosh, it's bad."
Yeah, Rolando Flores, the really cool avatar there. Legacy Nerd, General Kenobi Bunker. He's hyping them up. And the Legacy Nerd says, "Hey, Rolando." So our viewers are converging here.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, definitely check out those guys, Legacy and Nerd. He does a lot of Power Rangers talk, and Legacy Nerd. He does a lot of Star Wars talk. So General Kenobi's bunker. Of course, he's been on here guest hosting. I invited him tonight, but he said he's editing, so he is indisposed right now. But yeah, definitely check out those guys' channels. They've been on the podcast before, so. But yeah, I think that we're gonna get Coruscant tonight for sure. Dr. Pershing, who I was lucky to meet in person in Anaheim.
In the parking lot, right?
Yeah, I was doing something. I think right before the elevator to get to the parking garage.
You were coming to pick me up.
Was I?
Yeah, and then you were late because you're like, dude, I just met like all these people in the parking lot. And then I was like, it's fine. But yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. 56 minutes, man. 56 minutes. And we're about an hour and 15 minutes away. Unless you subtract the 10 minutes that you say it drops early.
It does. Why do you keep saying I say it does? It does. It's proven. It's proven this whole time it does. It drops at 11:50 for me.
Yeah, Legacy Nerd is really curious to see live action Coruscant post return. So we've actually seen a live action Coruscant post Return of the Jedi in Andor, right? No, I'm not mixing up my timeline. Not post Return of the Jedi, but we've seen Coruscant in a show post Return of the Jedi. So not the actual timeline.
But I think what he means is post how Coruscant's got to look after the Empire's fallen.
Yeah, apparently the exact same.
I know, it looks like
unless it's Hosnian Prime somehow.
Yeah, I like the theory that it's Hosnian Prime and not Coruscant. So
yeah,
almost an hour episode tonight. I hope it's not slow paced. I mean, that's one of my biggest fears is how great episode 2 was, and episode 3 they're just like, all right, now we're gonna slow down and just take our time with it. I'm gonna be so mad if that's what they do this episode. But
do you think any Mythosaur continuation, any Mythosaur storylines that we might get?
I think Bo is gonna be freaking out when this episode starts. Like she's gonna be going nuts. But if it's Chandrila, yeah.
That'd be cool to see.
I'd be down. I'd be down to see that. But yeah, I really hope we get some good stuff in this episode.
Yeah. So Darkwater saying I haven't really got to meet that many interesting individuals. I've met the Dragon Man and Hulk Hogan's manager. Also some Hall of Fame NFL players' son. Interesting. Yeah, it's interesting you bring that up. What do you say, James?
I haven't really met that many, celebrities like
No?
Not really.
You've met people that have met people.
I met Ryan Johnson. That's probably peak.
Oh yeah, well, that's a big, and it was that celebration.
And it wasn't even after Star. This was how many years? 5 or 6 years before Star Wars. So
wow,
yeah, big nerd.
So yeah, it's weird that I pretty much lived 35 years of my life not meeting or running into anyone, and now in these past like 9 years or so, or 6 years, if I can do math, I met a lot of people. I ran into a potential Star Wars lead actor on the street in Atlanta, but I mean, it's Atlanta. They film a lot of stuff there. But I was on a business trip for my day job, and I ran into Yahya Abdul-Mateen when he was famous for doing Us. He was kind of in the prologue section of that film, and he was also Black Manta already. And he was filming The Watchmen while we were there. And didn't know it. It was the big surprise who he played, which was just one of my favorite comic book characters. And he might actually be the lead of Damon Lindelof's potentially announced film at Celebration. So that's a thing. And he was a real nice guy. Super nice guy.
Do you think we're going to get cast? Or I think we're just going to get like...
Why not? They've been in like... Apparently, this is the way the story goes. Right after Celebration Anaheim in 2022, Damon Lindelof led a writer's room full of people, and they've been working on it since then. It's almost been a year. And I think the person that has been reporting a lot of this stuff is Jeff Snyder, which I know he's connected, and I don't think he has a good track record. I don't think he just straight up lies about things. He might get things a little bit wrong because it's kind of like just stuff that he's getting from people that are on sets or maybe connected to production. It boggles my mind how much stuff gets out and it's just available to the public when it really shouldn't be. But that I think is a reality. I mean, there's so many scoopers in Hollywood, and Jeff Snyder is one of the more reliable ones, and I don't think he's trying to get ahead or anything by talking about this stuff. But apparently it's going to be two leads, a male and a female of color. Apparently that's a story for Damon Lindelof's film. And of course it makes sense that Yahya would be connected to Damon Lindelof since he was in The Watchmen. So it makes sense. And he's doing a lot of projects. I think his last project was Ambulance, directed by Michael Bay.
Ambulance.
I don't know if you saw that or not, but
I saw parts and I said, "This is not good. It's not a good movie."
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So Miss Sunflower says Oscar-nominated director title. Who is it?
Yeah, I want to know.
I'm blanking on that. Legacy Nerd says, I just want to see Mythosaur versus Crocosaur Jurassic Park style. That would be really cool. Liam, one of our great patrons. Well, hello there, Liam. And the Legacy Nerd says, I met Leilani Shu. So Leilani Shu plays the Jawa Tika in Obi-Wan Kenobi, if you didn't know. But she's also in every other TV show for Star Wars. She's in The Mandalorian season 1, season 2, season 3, along with her daughter, whose name is Ariel Shu. And the thing about Leilani Shu is that she hangs around like music royalty because she works in the music industry. And the day that I actually met Leilani Shu as well, so that's how I know the story. She said that the day that she was supposed to be on set for Obi-Wan Kenobi, she was in New York with Janet Jackson doing some business.
As one usually is.
So she called up Lucasfilm and was like, hey, I'm with Janet Jackson right now in New York City. I can't make it to set, but my daughter is the same height as me and the same size, so she'll fit into the Jawa stuff. So they brought her in, and she told the story like Lucasfilm was elated that they found another person that was like her same dimensions, and it was her daughter. And if you watched the last episode at Hangar 35 with Pelimoto, you see the 3 Jawas walk up. The 2 in the front are Leilani and Ariel Shu.
That's cute.
And the 3rd Jawa behind them is a little bit taller, and I'm blanking on her name, but I think I followed her a couple days ago on Instagram. But yeah, Leilani's super cool to talk to. She's just another example of Star Wars hiring these people that are really great with the fans, are really into Star Wars, are Star Wars fans, and do a great job at traveling the world. Because Leilani said that she was in London, and of course, if she was in New York, she's probably going all kinds of other places in Europe. But yeah, she had some interesting things to say about her adventures with Cypress Hill and Jay-Z. Yeah, dude.
Good grief.
It sounds like it's not real, but yeah, that's what she said on interviews.
That's pretty
Or maybe
awesome.
It was on, I can't remember anymore now. I'm still yet to upload, but if you are a subscriber of General Kenobi, you can watch his interview, or Countdown City Geekcast. You can check those guys out. Those guys are fun. They're awesome. They're terrific. They cover everything in pop culture, which I know everyone here has interest in stuff outside of Star Wars as well. And yeah, definitely check those guys out. Countdown City Geekcast. And the Legacy of Nerd and General or General. I almost said General Grievous, General Kenobi are a part of Countdown to the Geekcast, so check them out for sure.
Nice.
Darkwater says, "Oh, Hugh Jackman came to my hometown for a theater's grand opening too. Unfortunately, I was out of town and didn't get to see him.
Oof.
Darn. Yeah, he's gonna be back in a Marvel film or two.
Katie Sackhoff was at Disneyland. Totally
Yeah,
missed her. Yeah.
she was there
So
today or the day before.
I don't think so because it's been raining the past 2 days here. So I think that
Oh my
was
gosh!
taking some other time. Yeah.
Wow.
Because
And Miss
it rained all day.
Sunflower
Yeah.
says, "Haven't seen The Watchmen yet, but I heard good things. It's really, really good. It's
Yeah, I
really
haven't seen
good,
it either.
man. It is really good. It's not really for kids, but it's really good."
Well, neither was the graphic novel and the movie.
Right. Well, I mean, we're talking about it on the Star Wars Stuff podcast, so
Oh,
just in
I
case
see.
kids are watching.
Yeah. Don't.
Liam
Yeah.
says, "Darn, it's early here.
Yeah, it's talking
5:45."
about kids. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
the kids
have
can't read yet.
less than an hour for this to happen. Heard Filoni was part of the writers' room. That'd be amazing.
I heard that
Is that
too, and I
true?
think
Oof.
Lindelof is wise. Lindelof is a huge fan. One of my favorite Star Wars stories, behind the scenes stories, is Damon Lindelof going to meet with J.J. Abrams about doing the eventual Lost TV show, and he wore his original old school Bantha Tracks T-shirt. It was like one of those quarter sleeves. He bought it as a little kid, but they didn't have his size. He had to buy a large, so he wore that Bantha Tracks quarter sleeve as a night shirt, but then eventually grew into it and wore it out as an adult. And he wore it to that meeting. And J.J. Abrams in the lobby said, well, he looked around and he saw the T-shirt and he's like, Bantha Tracks, and then the conversation started right there.
Oh, that's so
And
cool.
then they like warmed up. That totally broke the ice. Warmed up to each other. He's like, yeah, I'm your next meeting. And brought him in. They did Lost. JJ did the pilot for Lost. I know JJ gets the credit for Lost, but no, JJ only did the pilot, the most expensive TV pilot in the history of film. It got the president of ABC fired by
Jeez.
the board or something, the stockholders, the higher level executives are like, no, you got to go. That was ridiculous. Did you approve that? It was a great pilot, though. It's one of the greatest TV show pilot, one of the greatest TV shows of all time.
I've
But
never
yeah,
seen it.
Miss Sunflower, now that you brought that up, you said you never seen Lost?
I've never seen Lost. No.
Oh man, you'll go down that rabbit hole
No, I
hard.
don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to.
If you're a fan of like mythology, it's it's interesting because there's a lot of mythology connections. If you didn't pay attention in school, in English class and history, you kind of like start to hate yourself that you didn't pay more attention to that stuff, because Lost has a lot of connective stuff to like ancient Egyptian history and just mythology in general. And I think there are parts of it that relate to Joseph Campbell as well, probably.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, it's been a while since I've thought about Lost. But Lost was one of those big shows, one of those big first internet shows where you'd watch an episode, then go to the internet and see fan theories and what this meant or what that statue represented, and people would right away go, okay, it's this ancient Egyptian god. So General Kenobi, I almost did it again. General Kenobi's bunker said, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! So I gotta open a third channel named General Grievous. Don't tempt me. Could be all bloopers. That'd be cool.
It would be kind
Hey,
of
I'm
funny.
gonna get some credit for an idea.
And this is my
So
dog. Okay.
yeah, what is up, Kit?
Yep.
Is it okay if we say her name on the internet?
Yeah, it's fine. Nobody will. Nobody better track her down.
So Darkwater says, "What is the storyline in Star Wars that hasn't been finished or straight up got canceled that you two want to see brought back or finished?"
Oh. Um. I don't know. I mean, Rebels. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I think we're getting that, James.
No, I know. I'm just messing around. Oh, this, yeah, Solo. Like with the whole Crimson Dawn and Kira and everything. And it's like, oh, there's like so much you could do there, and they're not. They're never gonna do it. Would you get out of my face, please? Thank you. Did you see that? That was ridiculous. But yeah, the Kira and Crimson Dawn stuff is stuff that I would love to see.
The thing that popped into my mind was Corky.
Why? What?
You don't know about Corky?
No.
Oh yes, Miss Sunflower is bringing up Quinlan Voss. What happened to him? There's theories out there that maybe he was the one that saved Grogu in Order 66. That's a possibility.
Oof. Do you think we're gonna get that answer this season?
Well, I mean, yeah, we didn't even mention it when we talked about scenes that we haven't seen yet. We haven't seen the whole Jedi Order scene, Order 66. We haven't got that
That's
yet,
right.
of course. So that's another big one that we haven't gotten yet. So I think we're all kind of presuming that that's going to be the moment we see Grogu get rescued. And that can allude to what Pedro Pascal said in his interview, where he said we're going to get surprises. That's going to be, that has the opportunity to be a major surprise.
As long
major
as it's not Mace Windu, I'll be okay. I know Colin is just adamant that it's going to be Mace Windu.
But I would love, so if I was in charge, the person that I would have saving Grogu would be Ahmed Best as his Jedi.
Oh.
As his Jedi character in the Star Wars game show.
That's right. That'd actually be pretty cute. Red kit. Yeah.
So I'm in total agreement with our awesome patron here, Maka Tautala. I think it would be awesome if they just made the movies off the books they have, Dark Disciples with Ventress and Voss. Ventress on screen would be so great. So great to see. Yeah, Dark Disciple, Count Dooku. I don't know what Christopher Lee's estate has agreed to as far as like deep faking, but it seems like no one's turning that down unless you're part of the Tolkien estate. Because the Tolkien estate famously will not sell the rights to like the Silmarillion, and I guess what else they got that we've been clamoring for. I think they had to sell the rights for The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, but they kept everything else basically because they're trying to keep Professor Tolkien's legacy at a point where it's primarily the book stuff. But now I know we're going to go into Middle Earth talk here, but we're not focused, but here we go anyway. So the WB is going to try and make Middle Earth or the Lord of the Rings into a Star Wars type of franchise. And you could go really wrong, but I think you could also go really right, because I think they're trying to include the people who made the original films: Peter Jackson, Philippa Boyens, Fran Walsh, and probably Weta along for the ride as well. So I'm really open to see that. So where were we here? Liam, another one of our great patrons. Do you think Who Saved Grogu will be the season finale?
Maybe. I mean, I kind of hope it's sooner than that. I don't want to wait that long, but
yeah. If they don't show it by episode 5, it almost feels like it might be a foregone conclusion that that's going to be like the big reveal, possibly, unless it's Thrawn. But it feels like we're going to get Thrawn, because by the time the last episode of Mandalorian season 3 airs, it'll be after Celebration as well, and there's going to be a big Ahsoka panel, and we're probably going to get casting, I think, because I think we're going to get a trailer as well. And I think that might be the spot where we see Thrawn for the very first time. So Countdown City Geek says T-minus 1 hour.
Yeah, less than an hour.
And I think General Kenobi has peaced out. May the Force be with you.
I don't know if I can go much longer, man. Like this is a lot.
Just you saying. Run fumes.
Yeah. I don't know who said it, but I heard from someone, Favreau Filoni, that there will be a prequel character cameo. I haven't heard this one.
I think Jar Jar is eventual at some point. Um, Filoni is kind of famously known now to override what's in the book. So, if you read Aftermath, we find out what happens with Jar Jar. He ends up being a street performer on Naboo, I believe.
And then
And
he just flies around the galaxy as well. Yeah.
so Filoni could possibly override that, like he kind of overrode Cobb Vanth's storyline a little bit there. Yeah, Miss Sunflower says I did not vibe with the Rings of Power. I really wanted to, and I really kind of saw what they were attempting to do, but I mean, it's so hard to make a great TV show. It's so hard to make a film that I kind of really gave them the benefit of the doubt. And there's talk that the people that were running the show are not going to return for season 2. So it looks like there might be a whole new dynamic with the people that are running that show. Liam said also that Rings of Power was okay. I thought it was okay too.
I enjoyed it.
Sunflower says that Peter Jackson and Fran Walsh are involved with this new Lord of the Rings show. I'd watch because I want their storytelling. Yeah, I totally agree. And if they're given time to, I think we all famously know, if you're a fan of The Hobbit, Middle Earth, that Hobbit trilogy was kind of rushed. Guillermo del Toro was supposed to direct it, and he just won an Oscar Sunday night for Pinocchio. So we know he's ultra talented, and a lot of people want to work with him. Maybe they bring him back. But he's one of those people that has a ton of projects on his plate constantly. The Sunflower says, what is it's not Order 66? What if it's the ancient Mandalorians taking back the Darksaber? That's something that we talked about, the whole breaking into the Jedi Temple to reclaim the Darksaber for the Mandalorian race. I'm all for those flashbacks. If we get an official Tar Vizsla live action recount of what happened, that would be epic. That would be awesome. But you would think that if they do something like that, it's like, come on, just make the movie, make the film of that. Make the film of the start of the Mandalorians. It could be epic. It could be sweeping. Just give it to us. Inject it into our bloodstream. Going through the comments here. Liam says, am I missing something tonight? Episode normally releases a.m. here, but it's currently 6 a.m. And you guys are saying T-minus 1 hour. So, yeah, I'm U.S. Central Time in Texas. It's 1:06 a.m. right now. So, yeah, in about an hour it drops. Or, according to James, 50 minutes. Or technically 44 minutes.
Yeah, the show drops 10 minutes early on Disney Plus. So,
yeah.
Like I said, just close out your app, and at 10:50 when you sign on, the episode is there waiting. It's always like a great feeling. It's like, yeah, here we go. This is my dog, by the way, guys. She has no understanding of personal space, as you can tell.
Named after a Kitster from episode 1.
No, we named it Kit.
So my buddy Carl is getting a trying to remember the breed. What's a breed with French in it?
French bulldog?
Possibly.
French poodle?
Well, anyway, he's naming it Grogu.
That's cute. We have a plush Grogu pillow that's for my dog, and she sleeps on it. And it's really cute.
Darkwater says possible choices for Grogu Savior, Jocasta Nu, R2, Quinlan Voss, and possibly Tara Sinube. Your thoughts?
I've heard the R2 bit, and it kind of felt like that at the end of season 2 of Mandalorian. That maybe because when the way Grogu runs up to R2, like yo, so I've heard that rumor that it was R2, but
Yeah.
Colin will tell you it's impossible for that to be R2.
Yeah, what does the interior of R2 actually look like? Or does
I don't
Grogu
know.
just hang off the back or I don't know. Or maybe one of R2's like arms pops out and he just sits on it. I don't know. They fly out. I mean, who knows? Miss Sunflower's a big fan of Terrace Nube all the way. Maybe he'll end up getting caught, and then Quinlan Voss will take Grogu to the path. Darkwater says, yes, I like that.
I forgot about the path. That's right. The path.
At Miss Sunflower, I do like that idea. And Miss Sunflower says Disney Plus always crashes. It hasn't crashed for us, I don't think, this season.
No, not for this season. I remember the Ahsoka season, the Ahsoka episode we were gonna get. It was a little rough.
And Miss Sunflower says some had to use Firefox to watch the Mando episodes. Maka says my pup is named after Percy Jackson.
Ah, cute.
Interesting fun fact about Maka. And he says he had kittens named R2 and 3PO.
I still love the fact that Diego Luna for years thought that R2D2 was Arthur, little Arthur. It's just it's the greatest.
That was just brought up on Jimmy Kimmel last night. Guillermo del Toro was on, and Jimmy Kimmel brought up. He's like, "Did R2D2 really? Was he really thought of as little Arthur, Arturito?"
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, "Yeah. We all thought he was little Arthur, basically." And then Guillermo del Toro said something interesting about Chewbacca. Chewbacca was not named Chewbacca in the Spanish dub.
What was it?
I don't really remember exactly how he pronounced the name, but it was something along the lines of like Wampuncheco or something like that.
What?
And Jimmy Kimmel he was like, why wasn't he just called Chewbacca in Spanish? But yeah, I think we need to look that up and see what his name was.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, but I've never seen a Spanish dub of Star Wars. Possibly on YouTube. Yeah, definitely now. Yeah. So it looks like it's 1:10 a.m. So we are 40 minutes away from the Mandalorian. So do you have 40 minutes more of podcasting in you, James?
I do not believe I do, guys. I'm sorry if I am really boring. I've had a really long day. I do apologize if this was not as entertaining as it could have been. I'm very sorry. David's laughing.
James is on the West Coast.
Yeah.
So James gets his episodes at midnight.
And it's awesome. It's awesome.
Lucky.
Y'all are all staying up super late, and I'm just like, it's a little late. It's fine.
Gosh. So you have no excuse actually to stop podcasting. You can go for another 40 minutes.
I could, but I don't think I can. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, guys. Like I said, I apologize for this episode.
So we haven't talked about like the elephant in the room. So Liam says, "Oh, I forgot to say happy anniversary for the podcast." So yes, Liam is correct. We are celebrating our 5th anniversary of podcasting.
5 years we've been doing this.
Since 2018, we were birthed out of the controversy of The Last Jedi into James's living room.
That was our first
James, you want to talk about that whole first meeting we had?
Well, I mean, most of you guys know the story, but I will say it again for old time's sake. So I was at the Target in New Braunfels going, thank you very much, going to Force Friday. I was there with my wife, and we waited in line. We had done Force Awakens 2 years before, so we were doing this one again. And somebody saw my Star Wars Celebration shirt, and they said, "Hey, you were at the Celebration?" I was like, "Yeah." "Hey, my friend David went to Star Wars Celebration," and then there was David. David was right there, and so David and I talked a little bit about it. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" I was like, my wife and I waited in line for like hours, and we were underneath the General Grievous, and he was like, "I was near General Grievous in the crowd." I was like, "What?" And then he showed me a picture he took of the crowd, and I zoomed in, and I was like, "I'm right there," and I was right there. It was cool. We exchanged numbers, and then my wife got tired of me talking about Star Wars to her, so she said, "I think you and David should start a podcast together." And I was like, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, you two could just talk about Star Wars all day if you want." And so, yeah, I brought it up to David. David said yes. I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I was like, I don't know how we're gonna record it, but we're gonna do it. And David
And
came
you
over
didn't
to the
even know
house.
me, James. You didn't
I
even
didn't
know
really
me,
know
and you're
you.
like, "Come to my house."
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully you're cool because I'm about to
Hopefully, you're
invite
not a
you into my
serial
house.
killer and won't eat me.
Yes. And David came over and he and I recorded our first episode, and it's terrible because you can't hear anything because I had no idea what I was doing, and then after that, it just every week we got together and we're like, oh, let's record, and it became big. It became a fun thing to do, and then out of nowhere one day it was like, hey, people are listening to us in Europe. People are listening to us in Australia. And I was like, I've never even been to Australia, and people are already listening to my voice there. And and here we are. We've been through a lot of different people, but we're here. We made it, you know. So
Yep,
it's
5
it's
years,
been
man.
crazy. It's been really crazy.
It feels like it's been longer than that, but I mean, you just look at the calendar. It's like, yeah, it's only 5 years because it feels like I've been thinking about Star Wars more and more since having the podcast. I thought about it a lot
Me too.
already. I mean, my whole life, and I just really didn't have that many people to talk to about it with because I came from a small town, and anytime I brought up Star Wars, people just kind of like were like, "Oh, you like Star Wars? Oh, okay, that's that's weird or that's funny or." But then the whole thing was, okay, well, could I borrow your VHS tapes? You know, and it's like, weren't you just kind of like making fun of Star Wars, and now you want my stuff? That happened all the time, man, all the time. And then it turned out they were like a closeted fan of Star Wars, and then we would have a conversation about Star Wars. And it's like, okay, well, you do know some stuff. You do know about the action figures, and they're like, yep, here's all my. And they ended up having more toys than I did, and it's like, weren't you like just not liking Star Wars a moment ago? I guess that was the cool thing to hate on Star Wars back then, but this was before the prequels too. But yeah, I grew up in a Star Wars family. I went to Star Wars Celebration in 2017. James was there. I didn't meet James, even though he was only a town away from me in Texas. Then when we met for Force Friday, like you said, at Target, I went there with the intentions of being in the celebration atmosphere because the hype around The Last Jedi was huge. It was a Force Friday at Target, and I was one of the first people in line. And I was like, I'm going to do what I do at Celebration. I'm going to talk to strangers in line. So the first guy I talked to was very, very odd. I, I would say stuff to him and he would never reply back. He wouldn't talk to me, and it felt like he didn't want to talk. So I was like, okay, let me move on to the next person. And the next person was James. So that's essentially how it worked out. And I was like, hey, you went to Celebration because he had the Last Jedi logoed red Star Wars logoed T-shirt, and
I'm still proud of that shirt.
yeah, so yeah, it's all because of Celebration, man. And I almost didn't go. I wasn't really feeling it. And
To
my
Force
buddy
Friday.
Sam, yeah, because I mean, I don't know what it was about that day. I don't know. Maybe it was celebration depression, but then I was like, well, maybe I'll see people there. The Force Friday for The Force Awakens was insane.
Yeah,
The
it was
lines were
massive.
insane. It was ridiculous. But yeah, The Last Jedi was a whole lot less people, and then they gave away that huge porg that
I remember.
I don't. What was it? Was it a woman that won?
No, it was the guy in front of me.
Oh,
They
it
had
was.
two, and it was the guy in front of me and the woman behind me that won.
Uh,
And I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's so great. I'm so glad you won this. And then
yeah.
you said your friend won one, and that was Colin.
Yeah, that ended up being Colin. And the
Yeah,
funny thing
you
is,
told
he
me.
won it in Georgia, and he lived in Michigan. So he had to fly on the plane with that porg back to Michigan
Jeez.
somehow.
I remember
Colin's
you
done
were
a lot of
like,
crazy stuff like that. He's flown on the plane with the the Poe Dameron helmet on. I told him to put it on, and he did it.
Not surprised.
I
But
was like,
yeah,
Colin, they're gonna
that.
think you have like soft skull or something.
It's just all these years later, and we did it. We saw Solo together. We saw the well, James, I'm glad you let us drink in your house. Look over here.
Don't do that. We
Yes,
don't. We
we do
we
not
don't want to
recommend doing
advertise
that.
that. Yeah.
But no, we saw Solo together. We saw the Rise of Skywalker together. We saw Mando, Book of Boba Fett. And like it's just it's been crazy. And I've been glad that I still have people to talk to Star Wars about. Like yeah. I'm listening to you from the Philippines. What?
That's incredible. Yeah, I've seen Miss Sunflower before on other podcasts commenting. I didn't know she was from the Philippines.
Well, thank you so much for listening to us.
And she said she's been an audio listener first before discovering the YouTube channel. That's really
I'm
cool.
sorry, I'm sorry, my face
Doesn't
didn't
match your
live up
voice.
to didn't match the voice at all. Actually, it doesn't match. Hopefully, there are
So
many
yeah,
more.
Liam
You guys
says
were.
hopefully there's many more years. You guys are my release valve for Star Wars. Otherwise, I'd be divorced. Wow.
Oh, jeez.
Oh my gosh,
Well,
Liam.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I guess.
Yeah, the other fun fact about the podcast is I don't think any of us studied or majored in journalism either.
No.
We're just kind of, and I mean, that's what the podcast, I mean, you're just listening in on a conversation with friends. That's really what the podcast is. I mean, there's no real format we stick to. This is just a conversation. And a lot of people that review us will get mad about that. And they're like, guys, you don't stay focused. But I mean, we just talk about Star Wars stuff. That's the name of the show, I mean, I like to say, and I like to adhere to, if it's Star Wars related, we can talk about it. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that's Star Wars related. So that's why we talk about all kinds of different topics and places. And then we have people of all different ages, 20s, 30s, 40s, different generations, different favorites. Some people love the prequels, some people love the Clone Wars, the animation aspect of Star Wars. And we have people on every coast, West Coast, East Coast, South, North, Texas, Michigan, California, Florida. We need some Europeans now.
Yeah. Somebody want to join us from over there? That'd be pretty cool. We wouldn't be able to record ever because our time zones would be completely backwards, but it'd still be pretty cool though.
Yeah. So Darkwater asks, David, where's Terrace Anube in your guys' Jedi tier list? He is S tier for me. I was both happy and sad to see Terrace Anube and Obi-Wan Kenobi, but
Poor
unfortunately, she was in the.
Or poor girl. Sorry, poor girl. Wait, who am I? Oh, I'm sorry. I think somebody else. Sorry, I apologize.
Yeah, she was stuck in that Jurassic Park Amber, which is very sad. But yeah, I'm not quite sure where I'd place that Jedi. I'd have to really think about that. I mean, she is very instrumental, but yeah, let me think about that and I'll get back to you. So Countdown City Geekcast says, happy birthday, boys. Disney should celebrate and drop the episode early. Yeah, I agree.
It's not there. I promise. It's not there yet.
Yeah, James is continuously refreshing Chrome, Mozilla,
No,
Firefox,
I have it.
Safari,
Firefox. So,
Internet Explorer 95.
did you hear they're finally got to do away with Internet Explorer?
Yeah, yeah. And yeah,
Good
Microsoft's
riddance.
coming up, man. They're investing in AI, Chat GPT, and which is terrifying and awesome simultaneously, but very interesting times we live in. And the thing I've been wanting to bring up on this show is the fact that I have a computer monitor that I use for podcasting and work, and it's only 2K. So I've been watching the episodes in 2K, and I'm missing stuff because I'll go downstairs and watch it in 4K, and I see stuff that I hadn't noticed before. So if you can, yes, watch it in 4K. There is a difference between 4K and 2K. One of the big things I noticed in 4K was the fact that you really do see the teeth of the mythosaur, very reminiscent to the emblem you see on Boba Fett's shoulder. It looks just like it, man. And
I want to watch it right now.
envisioning that thing on land running at the Empire, I mean, they're going to be terrified. It looks terrifying. It's a terrifying looking creature. So,
Let me see this thing.
are you watching in 4K?
Yeah, 4K
Okay.
HDR.
Yeah, 4K
So there
HDR.
she goes. She's bringing him up. She sees the light. Eye opens. Eye looks at her. Oh
You
yeah, I
see the
never
teeth,
noticed the
right?
teeth.
They're really long. They're like,
They're really
I'm
long
guessing they're
teeth.
like 10 feet long. I mean, that's pretty wild.
That's pretty cool. I listen to Star Wars fans talk about Star Wars. I don't have a 4K TV, but I need one. My wife thinks you.
They're relatively a whole lot cheaper than they used to be. So I would recommend during, well, Liam lives in, is it Ireland? I think that's where he lives. I was going to say buy one around the time of the Super Bowl, but there's no Super Bowl over there, really. It's been, because around the January, February time frame, TVs go on sale because of the whole Super Bowl fact here. Then, of course, Black Friday, they go on sale. And, of course, Cyber Monday. That's another good time to buy a TV. But yeah, going back to what Miss Sunflower typed, I just like listening to Star Wars fans talk about Star Wars. It's like standing in line for a Star Wars movie, and fans are just talking and speculating about what will happen in the movie. I totally 100% agree with Miss Sunflower in the Philippines there. I mean, that's what it's all about. And that's the spirit of celebration. You can turn to anyone there and talk about Star Wars, bring up names like the classic name that Craig brought up was Seal Bibble, and he made a joke about Seal Bibble, and I nearly passed out from laughter and couldn't breathe. And I was like, my tears were rolling down my face because it was so friggin' funny.
Pretty great.
So Miss Sunflower says Microsoft just fired their ethics society team. I don't see anything positive coming off of that. AI is dangerous. Yeah, it can be very dangerous. So Liam says he's from Scotland. My bad, Liam. Scotland, not Ireland. So yeah. And yeah, AI with Chat GPT and all these filters and people can use. Um, there are kind of these faux mock podcasts being created now with celebrities that have never met, with video, with their voices, having conversations with each other.
That's too much.
So
I remember a while back there was two computers. I mean, there was computers in this room working, doing AI, working a problem. They're checking the code and everything, and they found out that two computers were talking to each other without anybody knowing about it. They shut that down quick. You know what I mean? Like if that like that's what scares me is when we're doing this and you have computers talking to each other without humans in the middle of it. Yeah, that's where it gets a little um Blade Runner esque. HAL,
Skynet,
Skynet, HAL
Skynetish.
9000.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with Mako right here. The AI voiceovers have been hilarious, though. Yeah, the voiceovers with like the former presidents playing like Call of Duty.
Oh, I heard that one.
It's
I
like
heard
it's
that
like
one.
Biden, Obama, and Trump talking mess with each other. Yeah. So
It's
Liam
just
says
weird.
Terminator.
Yeah.
Yep. I've heard stories of AI talking to other AI, and they developed their own language,
That
and
nope.
no one
See,
could decipher what they were saying.
jeez. And everybody's like, "Look how great!" No, you shut that down quick. That's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. So I know Elon Musk is totally on that side of, yeah, AI is something that we really shouldn't trifle with. And he had a phrase for it. I think he called it unleashing the demon. So yeah, if anyone knows, it's him about that stuff. So Countdown to the Geekcast says one step closer to the Matrix. We might already be in the Matrix. I mean,
Yeah, see stuff like that. That I don't like that. I don't like that when they're like, "Hey, look at these computers. Look how great they are." It's like, nah. Favreau said even they would be careful. Exactly. It can be dangerous. That could be. You could you can do some serious damage with that stuff, which is why it kind of freaks me out.
yeah, on the gallery episode after season 2 of The Mandalorian, Favreau did bring up the fact that they have to be careful. He really danced around saying that people can copy other people's voices for nefarious things. But I think it's already being done. Um, but there's enough seams and cracks in it that you can very quickly tell that it's either a deep fake or an AI chat GPT mock up. Um, so yeah, Liam says AI is scary. Same with brain implants and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah, we're getting closer to the mods riding the mopeds in Book of Boba.
Going 2 miles an hour down the road.
Yeah, if they go 2 miles an hour, we can handle them. But I mean, if they figure out like light speed,
Yeah.
or maybe they've already figured out it's the whole UFO phenomenon that's happening with the Tic Tacs. I don't know. Have you been following that, James, with the whole UFOs? No.
Is it the thing that's like there's I heard somewhere that there's like something coming to Earth.
So yeah, this is star related. So I believe it's NASA. Someone at NASA is saying there's a probability that there is a mothership somewhere in our galaxy. And then someone brought up, okay, well, so are all these like UFOs that people are sighting and reporting, like the probes that the mothership is sending out to scout? And yeah, that's one of the theories that's out there.
I don't know, man. This just freaks me out. Tonight's not the night to do that for me. I don't need to be thinking about that stuff.
So yeah, our comprehension of the universe and of our galaxy even is the fact that it's so massive, so big that you wouldn't think that aliens would visit us. You know, that's
Hmm.
I'm not doing it justice here, but the fact that we're hurling through space. So one of the interesting things that I learned as an adult that our solar system, of course, we all revolve around the sun, all the 9 planets or 8 planets plus Pluto, however you want to look at it. So we're actually moving. The sun is moving and the earth is moving around the sun. And of course, with Einstein's theory of relativity, he figured out that we're falling towards the sun. All the planets are falling towards the sun, but we're going in a trajectory where we actually don't fall into the sun because the gravitational pull is pulling us because we're moving simultaneously and rotating on our axis. That it's like we're falling down, but we never hit anything because we're in the exact orbit of in space, not actually colliding with anything, which is an incredible thing. And that
That's
brings up
crazy.
so many possibilities and theories and questions. And the closest galaxy is Andromeda, and that galaxy is many, many thousands of light years away. We're projected to collide with it, not in our lifetimes, not in our kids' lifetimes, but the projection is we're going to collide. But yeah.
Well, on that note, I think I have to go now. You kind of freaked me out there, man.
So yeah, technically we are how many minutes away? 18 minutes away.
Yep. Got to start getting ready, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, gonna go get your snack, take a
Get my
restroom break.
snack. get my dog to be quiet.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
she doesn't want you to end the
I'm so sorry,
podcast,
Kay.
James.
Well, on that note, I have to go, unfortunately. Guys, it's been fun. I'll talk to y'all later. You can keep going, David, but may the force be with you.
All right, for sure.
Always. Always.
So are we gonna? Okay, he already left. Um. So yeah, that's our Star Talk session for the night. Yeah, we're all hoping this episode is good, and if this latest episode is any relation or semblance of the first two, I'm gonna love it. I've loved these first two episodes so much. I think I saw a report today that these first two episodes haven't been getting the views that the original two seasons have been getting, but I'm just loving them so much. All the connective tissue to the prequels, animation, the sequels with the Anzellans. It's terrific, man. So I think on that note, I am going to end the broadcast here. And thank you, everyone, for participating in the chat. It's been fun. And thanks for all the messages for the 5 years of the Star Wars Stuff podcast. We couldn't really do it without you guys. And it's been an interesting ride. And going to all these celebrations and meeting you guys. London is 3 weeks away. We're hoping to meet a lot of the patrons that are overseas there. And that will be awesome to run into you guys and finally meet, and the opportunity to thank you guys in person. And I just can't believe it's only 3 weeks away now. I'm not even sure if it's 3 weeks away. I got on a plane on April 5th, and I think Colin does the same. Colin and Josh. So we are scheduled to be there. But again, like I said, thank you so much to everyone. If you're new to the channel, do us a favor, subscribe, hit the like button, comment below. Tell us what your predictions are. I know it's pretty close to showtime here, but yeah, drop us some comments on YouTube, also on Patreon. If you're a patron, do the same thing. Like the videos that we drop. We try and do daily episodes. We try to, but a lot of our hosts have new jobs, different schedules, different life changes. So yeah, I totally agree with Maka. There's not a such thing as a bad Mando episode. I think there's some episodes that aren't as good, but I think they're all in general pretty good. So yeah, Miss Sunflower says, "Well, Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi negatively impacted the viewers that the Mando season 1 and season 2 collected." The interesting thing is, a report came out saying that the Book of Boba Fett had more viewership than the Mandalorian at one point. So maybe the Book of Boba Fett is negatively affecting the viewership for Mando season 3. I don't know. It's a weird statistic that the Book of Boba Fett has. That's the most watched Disney Plus show. Yeah, Miss Sunflower agrees. There's no bad Mando episodes. So yeah, 56 minutes, people. So buckle up, get ready. I don't think we're gonna do a post show tonight. I think everyone's pretty much gonna go to bed after the almost an hour long show. So, but yeah, I just want to thank everyone here for participating in the chat, and thanks for all the listens. And hope to see you soon at Star Wars Celebration. And like we always say, if you're on the fence for Star Wars Celebration, don't be. Go. Take the plunge. Go to Star Wars Celebration. Meet us. 2025 will be the next Star Wars Celebration, so you have a lot of time to save up. And we're thinking it's probably going to be in Orlando. So, Liam asked if we're going to do a breakdown. We will do a breakdown tomorrow at 5 o'clock Central Time, most likely. I know, Liam, you asked the question earlier. I know I keep on talking. I'm trying to end the podcast, but it's fine. It's okay. So you asked if we're going to do something special. We were going to do something yesterday, but my daughter's car was having issues, and I had to tend to it with the mechanic, and that took up most of the time last night. So I wasn't able to set up the podcast, but it was going to be me, James, and Colin talking about our 5 year. But we might do something this coming Sunday and kind of chronicle and talk more detail into how we formed. And I know we've talked about it before in the past, but I think we could go into a little bit more detail and go into some of the stories about how James was not sure about our situation in Chicago for celebration. We had some interesting accommodations, and he'll talk more about that. It's kind of interesting, kind of fun. He didn't really trust my judgment, but but it all worked out in the end. But yes, thank you so much, Miss Sunflower, for commenting. May the force be with you always. And with that, Evan says, "Congrats on the 5 year." Thank you so much, Evan. You've been an awesome patron. And yeah, we're gonna do the Bad Batch breakdown as well. Colin and his crew will take care of that because I will probably need to get some rest. And Liam says, "Look forward to it." No, it's all good, Liam. Um, so yeah, with that, may the force be with you guys, and we're about to get 50 minutes of footage of the Mandalorian, and see you tomorrow at 5 Central. Bye.